Alright, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last video, we ended it with finding a big contradiction in this witness's testimony, which is now forcing him to revise it. So he claims that he heard a voice telling him that it was the time, but it was three hours off. So it must have been a video of a tape program. In the last video, I said I like to press everything because it gives you new information, sometimes lets you figure out what's going on, but sometimes, like this instance right here, there is a very massive contradiction and you don't need to press anything because you should be able to figure it out immediately. This one is very, very simple. So yeah, we found the body, heard the time, whatever, I don't care about that. Voice saying the time is probably coming from the television. That is most likely wrong, because if you'll remember, there was a blackout. So we need to present that. Objection! I think this is like the main theme of the game, because this isn't like what happens when you really corner someone. There's a much more intense song than this, but I really love this song. I wish it got used more in subsequent games. It does not, because every game essentially has its own little soundtrack, which is, it is great that that happens, but he seems rather distraught. He literally will not stand still. So yeah, again, since this is the freebie case, we know he did it, so we are not going to stop, you know, laying down on this guy until he gives up. So this one might be a little bit odd to figure out if you don't look at the court record. But it is actually fairly easy if you look into the court record. So he says he heard the time, he didn't hear the time, he saw it. There was a table clock in the apartment. Murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. So if we examine it, it says statue. A statue in the shape of the thinker. It's rather heavy. Nowhere on the court record does it say it's a clock. Now, Phoenix here is actually incorrect. He thinks that it's just a statue and just that he misspoke, but we should know that it is in fact a clock, but there's no way anyone would ever know that, looking at this monstrosity. So this is the song that's called Cornered 2001. This is what most people would assume to be the best cornered theme in the series, and I would have to agree. It's just there's nothing better than finding that contradiction and then having this guy get taken down while this amazing song is playing. Now, I think if you press no in situations like that, I think it's like a loop, and it'll kind of loop you back and make you make that decision again. So, as you could no doubt tell, you want to put went into the apartment, not knew the victim. As you can no doubt tell, contradictions and lies are a big part of this series. So that is mainly what you'll be doing in the court cases. There is more to the game, it's not just court 24/7, so don't worry about that. God, Winston Payne has the worst objection ever. It's because he's supposed to be just this wormy little guy. Yeah, it's kind of circumstantial. If I'm being completely honest, there's not really enough, like, super duper evidence to say that he is in fact the murderer. Like, we know he is, but again, it feels very that's still one of my favorite things. It's still very circumstantial. We do, in fact, have evidence for this, but again, like I said, it's fairly circumstantial. Like, I really don't think it's enough to peg this guy, but it is, in fact, exactly the thing that will peg him. So this is part 1 of the evidence. I think it's a great way to announce the time. I think it's 8:25. Like, that's amazing. So this isn't something that we would really know because there's no way to check the time. That's something that has to happen through the story. Is that the clock is 3 hours early. And there's one other thing that we can use to peg him. That is, of course, in our court record. Now, he thinks he can stop us by the fact that we can't prove that it's been broken this entire time. Or, you know, slow. It doesn't mean it's broken. In fact, it is not broken. And that is how we're going to get him. A sentiment most people of the world would probably feel. Now, this is very common in these games. You know, just when you think the court case is over, you know, it'll fade to black and then someone will shout, "Objection!" Whether it be Phoenix, someone else, you know, that's something that they're going to try and spook you with every time. You're going to think, "Oh no, I lost." But of course, our knight in shining armor is, of course, Mia Fey. So this is something that Phoenix does, and essentially all of the main characters of the series do, is that we have evidence here that she was on vacation from Paris. We're gonna bluff, essentially. And, you know, there's no way we know this for sure, but we're gonna bluff. But yeah, the passport, there's obviously gonna be a time difference between where we are and Paris. So that is how we are gonna get him. We must have evidence. Yeah, I just said it was this. It was the passport. We got this passport, Mia. Okay, I've already said it like twice now. It's this passport. There you go. Take that. Yeah, Phoenix is one heck of a bluffer, because even though he bluffs his way through 90% of these court cases, he's almost always right with his bluffs. Mr. Did It. That is one of my favorite things. That's what I love about this series. If this was just like a like a really boring, like a Law and Order game. Like you go into the courtroom, present evidence, and yell at people. It wouldn't be fun to play for like, you know, however long these games go on, like 18 million hours. But they've got personality, they've got interesting characters, they've got kooky characters, they've got spooky characters, they've got spooky kooky characters. But no, they've got fun characters, you know, fun lines like, you know, Mr. Saw It, or should I say Mr. Did It. Yo, get used to it, Mr. Judge. It's gonna happen for the next 3 games. This was actually the point in which, when I was first playing this game all those years ago, I realized I was going to love these games. Because, you know, they announced not guilty, and then confetti drops from the ceiling, and everyone in the audience cheers. Like, that's amazing. So sometimes when you can't figure out the motive or why the person did it, you know, sometimes Phoenix will explain why, or sometimes the person themselves will do it. So we've now completed the first case in our career as Phoenix Wright, defense attorney. Yeah, we can safely say, aside from Mia's objection at the end, you know, we pretty much did that all on our own. Get out of here, Larry. You're just annoying. Larry is fine in this game. It's his next appearance that's really annoying. I love that, though. I love that she doesn't know his name. Hairy butts. Again, the localization sometimes ain't great. The DS versions are, oh my god, they're riddled with typos. From what I can understand, I did a little research into the Wii version. They fix all of them, if not most, you know, most of them, if not all of them. I don't know if it's 100% typo free. I know there are some bad ones in the DS, man. Not great. So yeah, Larry made the statue. Larry made the statues. A lot of them. So, he's now giving one to Mia. Which in the long run might not be a great idea. So sometimes at the end of the court case, we can present something to our client to make them feel better. So we have something that proves that she did actually care about him. So just present the statue. Because, you know, why would she take it on vacation with her if she didn't at least care about the statue? And that was something he made, so by osmosis she cares about him. Although I highly doubt she actually cares about him. I think she just wanted a clock. Actually, no, because they make, yeah, Phoenix is making the point right now. It's a little heavy and cumbersome just to, you know, want a clock and bring that with you. Might as well bring your phone or your, actually this was 2001. Not many people had cell phones. So, never mind. I guess she did care about him. But she could have just, like, asked him out on a date. She didn't have to bring that huge clock with her. Well, in this game, we don't know if our clients are actually guilty or not. in the second game, we will get an item that will totally allow us to know if our client is guilty or not. We'll drink to a toast to innocent butts. Good. Most of our clients, I have a feeling, probably don't pay us, because they're all idiots. So, that is our first case done, and it leaves on a kind of ominous note. We will see what that means in the next video.